This is Adventure for Life. I'm Joel. This is day 9 of the 15,000 mile Grenadier cross country trek. I am at Saguaro National Park. It looks like Saguaro, but it is pronounced Saguaro. And so this is a continuation of day 9. We may call it day 9.5. We may split it into 2 days. I'm not exactly sure, but just like with white sands, we saw a bunch of white sand at Saguaro National Park. We're going to see a bunch of saguaro cacti, however you want to say it. So there's a really tall one there. Wow. That's probably, I'd guess that's 30 plus feet tall. You know, here's a little short one. This is probably, 10 would be my guess. Lots of little prickly needles. Anyway, it's the, I'd call that kind of the organ pipe. Maybe there's another kind of cactus called organ pipe. But Saguaro National Park is split into 2 sections. There's an east section, which is where I am right now, and it is on the eastern side of Tucson. Then there's a west section, which is on the west side of Tucson. I'm going to do both. I assume that's a different kind of cactus right there. Anyway, I'm going to do both today. There's a couple of loop drives in both. I read some reviews and they said that the east side, which is this one, is much larger, but the cacti are much more dense on the east side. So I'm going to do both today. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to show you guys is the high today in Tucson is supposed to be 109. If you can see hopefully right there, it's showing it's 105 where I am right now at the entrance to the east side of Saguaro National Park. And then if you look at the thermostat on the car, it's exactly at 194 degrees, which is where it always is. So I'm going to be watching that as I drive and just see what happens. By the way, I also rolled over 11,000 miles, if you could see that right there. So we'll see what there is in Saguaro National Park besides saguaro cactus, and my guess is that's what there's going to be. Although you see behind there's mountains and all that, so it's I think it's going to be a very pretty place. So I'm going to do this loop drive right here. Supposedly takes an hour, 8 miles long, so I guess they're saying I'm going to drive 10 miles an hour and stop a few times. But anyhow, this is the very start, and we'll just see how it goes. Again, you can see obviously cactus in the distance, and you also see the mountains in the distance. So already this is a very, very, very pretty place. I'm not sure what the name of those, so you've obviously got your standard old cactus there, and then you've got these tall skinny ones, and more of them, and then you have the saguaro, which I would call an organ pipe type cactus. So we'll see how many different kinds of cactus we see out here. But this entire area, if you can see, is, it's just cactus everywhere. Again, there's going to be cactus all over the place, but I thought it'd be great to get, the Grenadier with the backdrop of the cactus. I am driving with my windows down, by the way, because I know everybody's got their own perspective, but I love dry heat. And so this 105 temperature feels great to me because it's nice and dry. There's a little breeze. By the way, they said that these things flower like in the winter time or whatnot. Of course, that's when most people would say is the preferred time to come. But I'm here in July. So that's just the way it is. Again, trying to get several different vantage points and perspectives on Saguaro National Park with the Grenadier in the foreground. I'm wearing my sandals, which I probably shouldn't be. because I sure don't want a cactus needle in my foot. I'm going to do a quick quasi 360. Not even a cactus fan because I got stuck by them one too many times when I was a kid, but this really is just really unique and beautiful in its own right. So there's your 360. Show you a little bit of what I'm seeing when I'm driving. This road is very a lot of undulations in it. I actually put it in manual because I wanted to be able to change gears when I'm going up and down these humps and whatnot. So anyway, really cool place. I mean, you see lots of cactus out there, but again, from what I've read, it's going to be more dense on the western side. So I don't want to, spend too much of my video and time on this side. If I don't see anything different than what we're seeing so far, I'll just finish this loop drive and then move on over to the west side. Really, wow. Those are some big cactus. Again, now they're not as tall as that one at the entry. Those are probably 15. That one in the back that's the tallest is probably 20 feet tall. And again, that one I saw at their entryway was 30 feet tall. But really interesting. I drove by this and it was different enough and there was enough cactus out there that I decided to back up and video it again. It's really, there's a lot of cactus here. It's going to be interesting to see again on the west side if there really are that many more cactus, because this is just absolutely gorgeous with all these various kinds of cactus. And there was one that had some flowers on it. So let's go back to that just real quick. Or maybe it's some sprouts. I'm not exactly sure. But anyway, well worth the roughly hour that I'm going to spend in here. This is just very unique. And it really is gorgeous in its own way. So I'm going to do another quasi 360. You got all the cactus in the distance on the hillside, and then you've got this cactus canyon, and there's cactus as far as the eye can see. Continuing on with the 360. Cactus as far as the eye can see. That looks like a little dry riverbed. I mean, I'm talking about here coming out of the mountain, but obviously that's the dry riverbed. This is really neat. By the way, very few people out here, maybe because it's 107 degrees, although the thermostat has not changed at all. So I'm sure I've seen just a few cars, and I'm sure a lot of people are thinking we're idiots for being out here, but again, I enjoy it because I love this heat. So this area is called Javelina Rocks. So I'm going to walk up there, see how far I can go. I just got my flip-flops on, but I'm going to go up there and see what the story is. Anyway, apparently javelinas hang out here, and scorpions and rattlesnakes and things like that. So we're going to see what that's all about, and I'll see if I can get a good shot from further up. Okay, there's the Grenadier. I'm going to do a 360 again. It only took me a couple minutes to get up here again. Not the brightest in the world to come up here with flip-flops on, but I didn't want to fool with changing my shoes. By the way, and this is totally unrelated to where I am. By the way, the old flip-flops got some pretty good traction coming up this rock. Anyway, I came up right there. Anyway, you guys, I assume you Grenadier owners, got an invitation to go to South Africa on a Jim Ratcliffe-esque safari. And I signed up to try to go. They said they were going to call everybody back. Apparently they had so many people they didn't, because I just got an email that said, hey, we ain't got time for you. So, you know, that's great for the people that got to go. The reason I was thinking of this is because the thermostat just showed 108 right before I got out of the right before I got out of the Grenadier to come up here, and it just made me think of being on an African safari or whatever. Anyway, I am going to try. I signed up for the South African one. There's one I remember in Zambia, and I don't remember where the other one was, but I'm going to try to do that if at all possible. My guess is that the same thing will happen. They'll have, you know, 1,000 people show up for 15 slots, and I won't ever get the chance. But I've always wanted to go to. I've been to South Africa a few times, and I've never been to Namibia, and always wanted to go. So, especially on a safari. So, hoping that works out. And obviously I'll video it if it does. Okay, so I'm on the approach road for the western side of Saguaro National Park. If you can hear the car, the radiator fans are blowing, I'm going to say full speed. I don't know that, but I'm guessing they are. I saw temperatures as high as 113 on the drive over here. I had the air conditioner on, the second fan setting, so it was blowing pretty hard, but I never saw the thermostat move off the 194 degree temperature mark. So here's a quick 360 just to kind of give us an idea of what we're looking at. Obviously this looks a lot like the other side. But by the way, I don't know if you can see it. We'll watch that car for a second. There, the approach road has been a lot of fun. A lot of ups and downs and twists and turns and whatnot. It'd be great on a motorcycle. Anyway, we're gonna go see what the west side of Saguaro National Park is all about. And again, you can still hear those fans on high, so the engine obviously is getting a little warm, although again, the thermostat's showing 194 dead on. One more quick thing, not a big deal, but I'm at 11,111 miles. Okay, welcome to the west side of Saguaro National Park. Again, the approach to this side of the national park was just really a lot of fun. And as I read in a review, it does appear that the cactus are much more dense on this side. And they said this side is smaller, but as far as I'm concerned, the approach road counted as part of the national park. There are lots of pullouts and whatnot. Anyway, and again, you can still hear those radiator fans blowing hard. Now, one reason I'm paying attention to this, for those of you who are watching my Cutlass trip, cross-country Cutlass trip last year, my radiator fans, not the fans themselves, but the switch that controlled them went out. I was pulling into Zion National Park and the car overheated and the radiator boiled over and all that kind of stuff. So I'm obviously watching this very closely, and we'll be doing the same when I go to Death Valley. I guess it's going to be next week sometime. I'm purposely letting the air conditioner run and do all that kind of stuff because I want to see, you know, how good the radiator and the cooling system is. Okay, here's the Red Hills Visitor Center, again on the west side of Saguaro National Park. I don't know that I'm going to go inside because I already know I'm going to do a loop road. Bayada, that's what I'm going to go with, is for pronunciation, is Bayada Loop Road. I mean, even the visitor center has got some pretty spectacular, very spectacular cactus, and you see there's nobody here. By the way, it has cooled all the way down to 109 from the 113 that I saw earlier. So it's plenty warm out here, and that's why nobody's here. Now this guy's actually got his RV. Is he gonna spend the night there? I don't know, but anyway, We're gonna now go do the Bayada Loop Road, and we'll see what that's all about. There is the sign for Bayada Loop Drive. So I'll just take off here and we'll video for a moment. And guess what? There's a bunch of saguaro cactus out here. All right, if I hit something that is triple spectacular, I will video it. So you can see it again, it's heated back up, it's 112 degrees, but I thought I'd show you this. My tires all, you know, it was cool in Texas, a lot cooler than it typically is in July, and my tire temperatures were showing last week at 102, and the tire pressure was around 41 here and around 44 here, and on the rear, and you know, I was getting the warning messages about, hey, you need to inflate your tires. I never did it because I knew once things heated up that they would reinflate or whatever. By the way, it is, I told you, I love dry heat, but it is hot, hot, hot. And we did that a couple years ago. Again, if you were watching when I did the motorcycle ride up to Washington and Idaho, it was, as crazy as it sounds, it was 115 in Washington State when I was there in August last year. We had multiple days over 110. Of course, I had all my, I was riding my motorcycle, this was 2 years ago, riding my motorcycle, had all my gear on, helmets and all that, and stood it just fine. But it is hot. So we've obviously gotten off of paved road and on a dirt section. I'm not sure how long this, the other one on the east side was an 8-mile loop. I haven't seen any indicators as far how far this one is, but supposedly about an hour like the other one was. By the way, I am driving with the air conditioner off right now and the windows down, not because I'm scared about the radiator, just because I enjoy it. It's back up to 112 now, so it's quite steamy, but it's not steamy at all actually, because it's dry as a bone out here. There are, by the way, you know, multiple hiking trails out here. Obviously there are not going to be many hikers out here when it's 112 degrees, 113 now, but I'm sure the people that come in the winter for the flowers and all that kind of stuff do some hiking. We'll do another 360. I am out here, quote unquote, by myself. I hadn't seen anybody else out here, because that just tells you that nobody's as dumb as I am, I guess. But beautiful, just absolutely beautiful countryside, both the hills, the mountains, and the cactus. By the way, I've heard that clanging sound that I mentioned in Big Cypress when I was in Florida again, and you heard me a few videos ago blame that on having the shovel and the jack in the back of the vehicle. Well, they're not in the back of the vehicle now, and they have not been clanging at all. So if you go into something that's a pretty abrupt drop and you're going with some kind of speed, there is some kind of clanging, and again, I'm going to say it's obviously coming from underneath. It sounds like what a car would sound like with a loose U-joint or something like that. I'm not saying there's a problem with the vehicle. I'm just saying there is some kind of clanging noise that I'm hearing periodically if I go through something fairly quickly that's kind of an abrupt jolt. So I just now hit the brakes pretty hard. I was going about 40, and they did very well on this gravel and rough stuff, so I'm just gonna do a quick demo of that. That's 40. So, I mean, certainly the analog were kicking in, but kept the vehicle straight, slowed me down pretty quick, and so I'm pretty impressed with that. I want to say again, the ride on this road in this vehicle is really, really, really good. I'm back at the Red Hills Visitor Center, again on the west side of Saguaro National Park. I would agree with the blogger that I read before that the west side is better, although I would say both sides are definitely worth doing. It took me about an hour to do the loop road on the east side, took me about an hour to do the loop road on the west side. Certainly easily could have spent twice as much time as that, because you know, I was moving along, but there are hiking trails to use. There were all kinds of other things that you could have done, and obviously the heat also would prevent a lot of people from staying out there very long. So if you want to avoid the heat, obviously you need to come in the winter or whatever. But anyway, fantastic. I can't believe I've never been here before. I read somewhere that this is one of the best kept secrets as far as national parks go. I would agree that it's fantastic and certainly worth your time. So this is maybe the end of day 9.5, although I have plans to go to a Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives tonight in Tucson. So if I do, I will shoot that. If not, I'll see you next week. Well, I've said this several times about the diners, drive-ins, and dives, but I've been just really surprised at how many of them are in strip centers. So I'm in a strip center, and you guys probably can't see it over there, but there's saguaro cactus on top of that little hill / mountain over there. Anyway, I am going to Inca's Cuisine Seafood Pisco. So this is supposed to be a Peruvian, and there it is, Peruvian cuisine. So this is supposed to be Peruvian. I've been to Peru a couple times, liked their food, and there were like 6 total diners, drive-ins, and dives in Tucson. But the other ones, I don't remember exactly what it was, but this one caught my eye, and so I'm going to try Inca's Peruvian Cuisine. Okay, I'm inside, and I ordered 2 drinks. This one is the Chicha Morado, or Morada, and it is just some fresh, you know, like pineapple and cinnamon and apples and a bunch of stuff like that, and it's really, really, really refreshing. It's really good. And then I'm not an alcohol drinker, but when in Rome. So this is the national drink of Peru. It's called a pisco sour, or pisco sour if you say it like they do. I had one once in Peru. Again, I'm not an alcohol drinker, so it wasn't my favorite thing, but it was pretty good, so I'm going to try it again. So I ordered this ceviche for my appetizer, and I'll try it in a second, but this Chicha Morada drink is fantastic. Again, it's non-alcoholic, but it is just really, really, really refreshing. And the pisco sour is good too. Okay, so the ceviche is really good. You've got some calamari, you've got some fish and shrimp, and then Peruvian corn, and it just is very, very, very fresh. A lot of lime taste to it, which is not my favorite, but it's still very, very, very good. And I'm going to say again, that Chicha Morada drink is fantastic. This is beef, rice obviously, and beans, which are all, you know, staples of the Peruvian diet. I've had this before, really liked it, so hopefully I'm going to like it here. Okay, the entree was very good. The beans and rice are just excellent, and that's something that Peru's known for. Of course, lots of countries are known for that. The beef was kind of like a roast beef kind of thing, and that's not my favorite. I mean, just because it's not my favorite doesn't mean they didn't prepare it well. It's just not my favorite. But I mixed it in with the beans and the rice, and it was really good. I obviously finished off the pisco sour, and the chicha morada will be gone very soon. So the drinks were fantastic. The ceviche was very good, and this was good, even though roast beef's not really my thing. So I'm gonna try some kind of dessert depending on what they got. Okay, I ordered dessert, and it's called alfajores, I think. It's a cookie dessert with some powdered sugar on top and some kind of jelly in the middle. I've taken one bite out of it, as you can see, and it was really good. So this place is, if I lived here, I definitely would come frequently. Okay, so I'm leaving Inca's Peruvian Cuisine. They have outdoor seating. Not very busy tonight. Of course, it's a Tuesday night, but it was really good. It's a great change of pace. The dessert was really good. So anyhow, if you ever find yourself in Tucson looking for something different to eat, Inca's Peruvian Cuisine. All right, so this does end day 9.5, depending on which one of these videos we put it with. See you next week.